All right, word problems, the bread and butter of physics. In this video, I'm going to show you what kind of work I expect you to show when you solve one of these problems. Typically, I give 10 points for a word problem. 5 of those 10 points is for showing your work, showing your process. Then usually a point for units, a point for correct sig figs, and then 3 points for the actual correct answer. Okay, so let's take a look. We got Chuck, the tortoise, who ran the 100-meter dash in 3.55 minutes. What was his speed in meters per second? Typically, the first thing you want to do is list what is given to you. Sometimes it's more than one thing. So we have and this is important here, we have a distance of 100 meters. I actually recommend that you use the variable that is typically found in the equations when you write this stuff out. That'll help you later on. We have a distance of 100.0 meters. We have a time of 3.55 minutes. Cool, that's it. The next thing we're looking for is what is the problem asking? And it's pretty straightforward. It is asking for the speed, meters per second. All right. Then the third thing we're usually looking for are the relationships, or often called the equations, that relate some of these things. Sometimes there'll be more than one. Velocity, or speed in this case, equals distance divided by time. There's something else we need to know, because it asks for the answer in meters per second. We need to know the conversion from minutes to seconds. Pretty easy, everyone knows that. But let's go ahead and write it down. It is 60 seconds. And by the way, there are exactly 60 seconds in a minute. That is a counting number. It is infinitely precise, so it has infinite sig figs in a conversion like this. 60 seconds per 1 minute. Okay, so we have given what it's asking for, the equations that we might need to use. And by the way, if you put an equation up there and you don't end up using it, it's no harm, no foul. It just maybe you did need it. Okay, so then we show our steps. The first thing I'm going to do, and sometimes the order doesn't matter, sometimes it does. The first thing I'm going to do is convert those minutes into seconds. So that's 3.55 minutes times 60 seconds per minute. Okay, so minutes cancel out, leaving us with, type it in my calculator. You don't have to do math in your head. I get 213 seconds. So let's check our sig figs. Infinite sig figs here, 3 sig figs and 3.55. So our answer needs to have 3 sig figs. So boom, it's already 3 sig figs. Yay, much rejoicing. Now we go on to the second part. So now we know our time in seconds. Let's go ahead and plug it into our equation. Oh, we just made that capital V. It's okay. 100 meters distance divided by 213 seconds. Okay, we punch that into the calculator. I don't know about your calculator, but my calculator, just a dime store calculator, gives me 0.469483568. Of course, units meters per second. Okay, so somehow we went from something that was to the nearest tenth of a meter, so about 10 centimeters, and the nearest second, and somehow we've got something so precise that it is in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 billionth of a meter per second. Billionth. I mean, that's so precise. I mean, that's more precision than is probably needed to like land spacecraft on Mars. So obviously that's not correct. Most of these numbers is just garbage. So we have 4 sig figs in 100 meters, 3 sig figs in 213 seconds. So we go with the fewest, that's 3 sig figs. So we got to round this down to 3 sig figs. So the 4 does not round the 9 up to the next, so boom. 0.469 meters per second. Now let's check it for common sense. That's about half a meter per second. That's about, half your height per second. It's pretty fast for a tortoise, but it's definitely slow. It's not ridiculously fast. Okay, so that sounds good. All right, 0.469 meters per second. Now, in a word problem, because sometimes you may have several steps like this, what I like you to do is to somehow, in some way, boldly, strikingly, alarmingly make apparent what your answer is. However you want to do it, just as long as it's obvious to me. You can put speed equals, or Chuck speed equals, the tortoise speed equals 0.469 meters per second. And you don't necessarily have to put that. You could have just did something like this, make it even bigger if you wanted to. I need to know what your answer is. If I cannot find your answer, then I can't grade it and you can't get points and I can't give you feedback. Okay. All right. Good luck.